Do you think entering into the interview first is a disadvantage?
I think it's entirely random. I mean, I don't think it is a disadvantage.
No, I would think it is slight disadvantage. I'll tell you my perspective, okay?
I started the paper and behind there are those speakers. You know, computer number 4563, please start your paper. And I could not just concentrate. That sir, IT Bombay kar liya, फिर Ahmedabad भी चले गए, startup भी खोल लिया. What is success for you? And you gave a very beautiful reply. You said that.
So, welcome all. I'm happy to have Aryan here with us. He was a student of Cracku and he has done very well in CAT and he converted many calls. And I think he has IIM Lucknow, FMS and IIM Mumbai.
ISB.
ISB, great man, okay.
IT Bombay.
Yeah. But you'll be ending up, you are joining FMS.
Yeah, right.
Good. So that also is a question I'll ask. FMS and IIM Lucknow, because many people have this confusion. So what your decision was and all, we'll see. But yeah, anyway, coming to it, I first wanted to know about your journey, okay? Basically, where you grew up, okay? How were you academically since your childhood, okay? And when did you first think of doing an MBA, okay? And how did you go about it?
Yeah. So firstly, thank you for inviting here. We met in January and it was a
Yeah,
pleasure
you-
being around you. So much
Same.
good vibe and energy.
Yeah.
So happy to connect back. I am Aryan Choudhary. I am originally from a Fauji family and a native of Navi Mumbai, Kharghar.
Okay.
And I'm finally a student at Delhi College of Engineering, DTU in the Computer Science department, and scored a 99.89 percentile this time. So about my journey, I think I started my CAT pretty late. I thought about CAT full-time like as a fresher in mid-September and I started preparing in October. So my first mock was 2nd October, Dashcat 1.
Okay.
Yeah, Gandhi Jayanti, that's why I remember it precisely. So I had done a couple of strategy internships before that. And particularly if I had to give one very specific reason, that would be that I have a lot of love for knowing more, for learning more. And even while being in college, I studied like beside computer science, I studied everything like geopolitics, philosophy, political science, economics, history. And now, MBA will also give a lot of new people, new perspectives, new disciplines to touch upon. So that was the, trigger point. I started in October and I had my end sem exams just the week before CAT. So if Sunday is CAT, I had my end sem exams on the last week. But yes, things worked out pretty well. Dashcats were very helpful there. And God was kind.
One thing I remember even thinking about it in IR also, but at that time there were so many people, so I couldn't really ask you this, but now is a good time. You started very late, I remember you telling me at that time also, but you did very well. Now, maybe it helped that you're a fresher, basically because you are still in touch with studies, you are still in touch with ACADS, but still 99.89 is a very good score, okay, with just like hardly 2 months of preparation, okay. So what do you think went right?
Okay. Sir, I think that the thing that went right was my understanding of the exam. CAT is not a conventional competitive exam in the sense of like something like a JEE or a UPSC or a NEET. It is an aptitude exam. And if we can crack the strategy aspect of it, that how do you approach a particular question or a particular, section of the paper, I think it is pretty easy to crack CAT, particularly for being an engineer, despite being an engineer. As I said that I, learn a lot of new things. I was a very avid reader.
Okay.
So my comprehension section was pretty sorted. Quants, again, being an engineer, once I was, giving mocks very aggressively, I was learning through mocks.
Yeah.
So my initial score was only 6-7 in my first quants mock because, I did not have the intuition or the rigor. Eventually, finally, I have scored 42 and a 19.93. So that helped. DILR section, I would say that the thing that worked out the best was your live attempts. Because I understood DILR as a personality test more than a, competitive exam subjective academic preparation. It was that how you control your reflexes during the attempt of the paper and don't let the moment decide your results.
True.
So I had, an entire strategy of how I would approach a paper what if my first set is not going well. And you talk about these knots, 1 knot, 2 knot, 3 knot. So I had a very proper strategy that if first knot is opening, I'll give 5 minutes. If not, then I'll leave. And that way, I cracked the way I have to approach the paper and that is what helped in the final result.
Okay, very nice. So how are your academic scores, your 10th, 12th and...
Yeah, so my 10th is 96%.
Good.
Yeah, my 12th is 87% in Maharashtra board.
Okay.
So that rationalizes above 90.
Very nice.
Yeah, and my CGPA is a 93%.
Okay, very good. So again, just slightly related to your decision making is you're still a fresher, right? So
I'm in my final year, right?
Yeah, and your CGPA is good, your ACADS are good. I'm sure you would have gotten a good job, like.
Yeah.
So why, and MBA can be done at any time. Okay. One way of looking at it, okay, when people ask me, should I take as a fresher or this?
Yeah.
One thing I'll definitely tell is don't take a gap year for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. But you could have done a job because once you do a job, you'll get some corporate exposure.
Right.
Okay. So did that cross your mind that maybe I should, why were you like taking this decision of joining an MBA as a fresher, which many people do. There's nothing wrong, but I wanted to know your thought process.
Okay. Sir, initially that first thing was that though I'm a computer science student, the job roles that come in were not something that were the best aspirational for me because as I said, I'm more into learning and more into, talking with people about gaining knowledge and perspectives. Like even in the IRL, if you would remember,
Yeah.
I was like a bee behind you.
Yeah.
Borderline irritating that I would always be around you just so that I can, learn from a man who has a lot of exposure. So even in tech roles, they're very execution heavy, not saying that execution is wrong. That is equally important. But I found that if I can get in an MBA right now, I'll have an early start in my career.
Cool.
So maybe 2 years of extra consulting experience when I'm 25 is way more valuable to me than 2 years of work ex in tech before an MBA.
Okay, very good, man. Yeah, actually, I never thought of it that way, but yeah, I would agree with the decision making.
Yeah.
Okay. What would have been best is if you have, say, 2 years of consult experience now and then do an MBA, but just doing 2 years of tech because that is the job that is available, I think is not optimal. So good. So then when you started preparing, okay, were you confident that you would score high, or when you just started preparing, you were saying that your mock scores were slightly low, right? So what was your mindset at that time?
Okay, sir, I think that, I'm a believer and I think that helped. The most beautiful aspect of my journey, if I look back, is that I did not know that how much of a hell it is to be a gem fresher. Right? So I had that information asymmetry, but it actually helped me. Had I known that, my understanding would have been very similar to you, that I'll take 2 years of work-ex, because then that makes Bangalore, Lucknow, ISB, all these colleges quite easy. But I did not know that it is that bad for us. I just jumped in, I took a leap of faith. I think God was kind. So yeah, it worked out well.
No, I always tell people to not take all of these cutoffs, okay,
Yes.
these points, kitna chahiye, itna chahiye, utna chahiye, all of that makes no sense, okay. I, in general, don't like it when people ask me these things also because I feel they're already in a defensive mindset, okay. And I feel they're wasting so much of their energy, mental energy into all of these things. It is so much better for you to focus on giving the best that you can, okay.
Yes.
So you have like say 2 months or 3 months or 6 months, put in the effort and try to maximize your score and try to get the best college that you can, okay. Like one of the guys, okay, will tell he was also public. He was a content manager here, okay.
Okay.
He did well in CAT, okay. I think he got 9.79 or something, okay. But he didn't fill FMS form, okay.
Oh God.
Because of all of these things that, okay, he thought FMS aana difficult hai, okay, something like that. And he got many calls, okay. But the fact that he didn't fill FMS form, okay, I didn't know that. I didn't know that he didn't fill FMS form till it was already, this was over.
Yeah.
But it still like bugs me. Where I feel it is just like the defensive mindset takes over. He's a very smart guy, obviously, okay. 9.7 is not nothing.
Absolutely.
But the fact is people make bad decisions.
Yes.
Right? When they are not in the right mindset. And many of this mindset is impacted if people are on Reddit too much, which is like a negative spiral, okay.
Yeah. So even I don't want to get into the specifics of it, but even this mindset of mine, which I just talked about with respect to CAT, is not something that has come naturally. I have been in a career decision where there is this term called analysis paralysis. So I was too much into it, so much of overthinking, and Reddit is the biggest contributor of toxicity. Though it is a very good marketing channel now, that's why people have to be there.
Man. I hope it goes down, but yeah.
Yeah, so Reddit that way, for especially for people of my profile, gem freshers, please don't think too much. Have backups, but you can get it.
No, I hate Reddit, okay. Let me be honest, okay, because I feel it demotivates everyone who spends more time on it, okay. Not just in CAT, you look at anything, okay. Anything, they're just like toxic. But that is what is working right now.
Yeah.
Many people are there on it, so you can't do much. But okay, that is good. So once CAT was done, okay, the response sheets came. Once CAT was done, which slot were you in?
I was in slot 1.
Slot 1, okay. So how did you feel while taking the examination? Verbal, LRD and Quant. Were you feeling good or how was it going?
So my strongest section was VARC. But during the paper, what happened was that, it was my first attempt in CAT, being in the final year. I started the paper and behind there are those speakers, computer number 4563, please start your paper. And I could not just concentrate. So the first 10 minutes, I generally solve a RC in 7 minutes. for the first 10 minutes, I took that RC, and in slot 1 paper was, we call this yahan bhi RC, yahan bhi RC. The options were in itself so long.
I know.
So firstly, that was an issue. Secondly, the speaker noise was there. Thirdly, the invigilators were gossiping. So in the first 10 minutes, I just completed 1 RC. In that, after the response sheets, I came to know 3 wrong, 1 right. So 0 marks. So if I had scored a VARC 50 plus, finally I stuck at 37. So after VARC, I was like, VRC, you never know kya hua hai. So I was just keep hopeful. Let's see. Dekhte hain. DILR was, slot 1 was a bloodbath. It was. So I picked up that data interpretation set, radar graph, that trade export import set. I solved that. That gave a bit of confidence. But after that, I was not able to solve any set. But then again, as I said, DIL is a personality test. As long as the cat is catching a mice, it does not matter it is black or white.
Correct, yeah.
So, as I said, your live attempt. So I had, watched in one of your videos where you said that you attempted some random easy questions in each set.
Yeah.
So what I did finally was that I have gained a +3 at least from all 5 sets.
Very nice.
So finally I ended up with a score of 32. That point I did not know that I have done this well, but I was sure that the section has been managed. And one thing that I was also realizing was that I am not at the best of my game. And again, for a gem fresher, that means that you're done. But so quants, I was very chill. I had nothing to lose. I thought that exam is largely maybe done and dusted for me. I have to just be aggressive. In quants, I have a very strong 2 minutes rule. If a question cannot be solved in 2 minutes or just around that time, it is not worth solving.
Yeah.
So, and that again came from Siley ma'am's attempts, because often she used to struggle in those flashcards where she put, say, 3, 4, 5 minutes in one question.
Yeah.
So that was a very strong intuition in me. And DILR I solved very aggressively and I ended up with a score of 42.
Quant.
Yeah. Quants, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Very good, man. Proper, stable scores in all 3. Okay.
All 3 sections very balanced.
Okay. Good. So once the response sheet came, I think you were pretty much on top of the world. I think you would have figured out that, okay, I have done very well. Okay.
Yeah.
And I think you got most of the shortlist also, right? I think you got ABC
I had
shortlist.
all calls except Koi Code.
Okay. And how did you prepare for the interviews? What was your mindset?
Yeah. So my interview prep was largely divided into 5 buckets. One was HRQs, the standard HR questions. Second was my academic UG, computer science. Third was the technicalities of the interviews, things like statistics, guesstimates, puzzles, macroeconomics, microeconomics. Fourth, these 3 are done. Fourth was the college-specific take. So suppose SPJ and Bombay has a very typical style of taking interviews. Similarly, ISB has a particular style. FMS has a style extempore in this case. Fourth was this. Fifth was current affairs. Current affairs related to my discipline. So I covered things around these 5 buckets. And I think that largely managed my interview prep. So I converted all my calls except the ABC.
Okay. What was the first call?
My first interview was Ahmedabad.
Okay. How did, was it like intimidating?
It was because I'll tell you, so I faced a professor who was from the information management domain, right? And the professor rightly knows computer science.
Yeah.
But he was somehow obsessed with cybersecurity.
Okay.
And he was expecting me to know this because I'm a CSE final year student. But cybersecurity is not something that we have been ever taught. So I just told him the basics that all of us know. But he was just obsessed with it, and 25 minutes it went there. And I was the opener in Mumbai that day for Ahmedabad call.
Yeah.
And the next day I came in, he was a strategy professor. He just had 5 minutes of geopolitics, but even those questions were linked to computer science and cybersecurity only. That he's asking that Nepal riots and all these VPN. He's going to the technicalities of VPN. He's not talking about Nepal riots. He'll talk about VPN. So just the interview ended, and after that I cried after that interview.
Yeah.
Because Ahmedabad call is a big opportunity. You're so close yet so far.
Yeah. I know.
And yeah, that was done. But my next call was Lucknow. And it was absolutely brilliant. So that gave a lot of confidence.
What happened? What did they ask in the Lucknow?
Yeah, so in my Lucknow interview, the best thing was that the moment I enter, there was this finance professor who was reading my form, and then he looks at me and says, "Oh, you are from DC. In our times, it used to be gold standard. How is the college now?" So it started with that, how is my UG college doing?
Nice.
And it steered down very well. They were very comprehensive. Current affairs, economics, my CSE, UG, HRQs, everything covered well. And I could answer almost all questions with a lot of confidence. So Lucknow, I came out and I was sure, you're done.
Do you think entering into the interview first is a disadvantage? First in the
Sir,
panel?
I think it's entirely random. I mean, I don't think it is a disadvantage. Like in IIT Bombay, I was the first one. They were even in Calcutta, I was the first one. And they were enjoying quite a lot. In Ahmedabad, I was the first one and they were grilling me. So I don't think it is very person specific. I don't think it's a disadvantage. If at all anything, the guys are fresh.
No, I would think it is slight disadvantage.
Okay.
I'll tell you my perspective. Okay.
Yeah.
When you meet a guy, even if he's doing very well, okay, you don't know relatively what to scale or what.
Right.
So you don't want to give him like 10, 10, 10. You feel maybe I'll find better guys. Okay. And when you're going for the first time, all of us are humans. Okay. It is much better to sit down, have somebody else take the first interview and be the second or the third guy. Okay. Then you're also more composed, more calm. Even the interviewers, I think, would have found their pitch. Okay.
Yeah.
Then it will be more stable. Going last, I know, is a disadvantage for sure. Okay. Because the guys are tired.
Yeah.
They just want to get it done with. But after your experience, I feel, for example, I don't want to be the first in the interview. Okay. Because I would be more nervous. The interviewers are also not finding the pitch right. They're just starting, they're like, okay, they won't be in the zone. Maybe, I don't know. This is just my theory. But okay, now coming to ISB, because I didn't meet many people who had an ISB interview. Okay. So I want you to explain how the interview went, how you prepared, and how was it, and what do you think helped you convert it?
Sir, I think that firstly, I would begin by appreciating the ISB guys. You know, they value you as a person, which is very important. Like say in Ahmedabad call, I'm not being arrogant, but being very honest, I was never evaluated. You're asking me 25 minutes of cybersecurity and taking an MBA admit. What are you even judging for that? So ISB was a 1 hour long interview for me. It was virtual. The interview started with I, greeted with them, good morning, ma'am, good morning, sir. And their first response was, don't call me ma'am and sir.
Okay.
So that was the level of, cordial environment that they created. After that, they went into the deepest aspects of my personality. They were like creating new situations, new constraints, decision making. Very long interview, but I think I absolutely loved it. The reason I think I converted it was that I was very honest. So they were enjoying the conversation as much as I was doing it. And my essays were very, well written. So at the 15th minute of my interview, I was given a compliment by one of the panelists that your essays are very good, very well written.
So you think they read the essays before the interview or during the interview?
Yes, they did. Because we know this because there was a virtual breakout room in Zoom. And the last girl, the girl before me, came back and I was called in after at least 15 minutes. And one of the guys was joining from Sweden.
Okay.
Yeah. Very nice people. So ISB and SP Gen, I think all said and done, I love the interviews that they take. They value you as a person, which is not the case with a lot of these top colleges.
True. And see, having an interview for 1 hour also is a big commitment from their side also.
Yes, right.
That's
Right.
good. So what are the kind of questions that they asked? They asked you about, tell me about yourself. Okay.
Yeah.
Then you were saying that they gave some situations or scenarios, right?
Yes.
Can you describe, like, give an example so that we can understand?
Yeah. So suppose in my internship, my LOR, that guy had written something about me. And in the LOR form, I came to know about it later, but there was a question where the LOR giving person had to, tell about a conflict that I had with him or either in his watch with the team. So he had written a conflict there, and the interviewers were bringing in new constraints,
Okay.
one after the another.
If
And
this happened, what would you have done?
yes, and navigating that, how do I perform? I think my baseline, in general, I'm a very pooky person. So like in my 4 years of college, I have zero conflicts. I'm like very
Not
nice to have, yeah. But if I don't like somebody, I just, maintain bridges. In Hindi we say dil milte rehne chahiye, haath mile na. In haath milte na mile, nahi, dil mile na mile, haath milte rehne chahiye. So that type of a person. So I think that personality came out. That, irrespective of the new constraints they were throwing in, I was always maintaining, every stakeholder's interests, evaluating the trade-offs well, respecting the constraints they were bringing in. I think that helped a lot.
Okay.
And at the end of the interviews, I was pretty sure that I'll convert it. Also, in that day, I was not in a very good state of mind because just 12 hours before, I had got a almost non-convertible waitlist from Calcutta.
Okay.
And because ABC was one of the dream calls, A and B already had a rejection. And C, my interview was quite well. I was expecting a straight convert there. But to go that level of waitlist, I was like,
What was the waitlist number?
300. Yeah. And the waitlist has moved by 240.
240?
Yeah, this time Calcutta has moved crazy.
When, are you sure it's 240?
Yes, my friend, 225 she has converted.
225, no? I heard it's 227 3-4 days back.
Okay.
Because the guy I told you about 9.79, right?
Okay.
His waitlist in Calcutta is 246.
Oh, so I maybe a bit of number here and there, but around 240 it has moved as far as I know. So I need to check on it. But 225 my friend has gotten. Yeah.
Okay, good. So one other thing I wanted to ask you is, you converted Lucknow, you converted FMS, okay? Now, but before we come into that, I want to ask you, like, in hindsight, what do you think went wrong with Calcutta? Because it is also important for us to introspect, and that will help future aspirants also.
So being very honest, I'm still introspecting what went wrong there.
Hmm.
Because my professors were quite good, I connected with alums there. The two professors were very fine. I don't know about the alum, obviously. The interview room was very jolly. I mean, if I had to give an example, there was a puzzle that they gave me to solve, and I asked them, "Sir, I'll take 30 seconds," and he laughed and said, "No, we'll give you 35 seconds."
Okay.
That type of jolly environment. But there was this alumni who was continuously giving me very bad looks. Even in my introduction, she gave me a very bad eye look. I mean, what's wrong with my introduction that you're giving me a look? I think maybe, but alums also have a less weightage in the final. I don't know, frankly, I don't know what went wrong in Calcutta. I know about A and B. In Bangalore, probably the WorkX thing did not work out well. In Ahmedabad, as I said, cybersecurity didn't work out well. But Calcutta, I was expecting a state convert. It was a shock. Because, in my interviews, the thing has been that coming out of the room, most of my interviews and my interview prep was very solid. I knew that I'll convert it. So Lucknow, I came out and I messaged one of my mentors that, "Sir, convert." SPGN, I said convert. ISB, I said convert. Calcutta also, I said ki hoga. But Calcutta did not come. So I am also introspecting what went wrong.
Okay, that's fine. So one other thing is, many people have this dilemma. So many people. Okay, even like one guy, you must have heard of the guy who worked in Zomato, went on
Girish.
yeah.
He's a friend before you guys posted it.
Oh,
We
yeah,
were in the
yeah.
FMS group.
Yeah. So basically, he always used to tell me, okay, I think his Lucknow also, I don't know whether he converted or not. I think he had some shortlist. I didn't ask him by that time, FMS was done. But many times, we also in the office used to discuss this FMS versus IML, FMS versus IML. So what made you decide or choose FMS over Lucknow?
Yeah. Sir, so something firstly that is very personal. That is, I'm from DTU, DC, as I said. Now that is the mother of FMS. It is our Department of Commerce that became FMS, and in FMS, our institution as a whole is respected a lot. So I have a lot of people in my batch from DTU, in the placement committees, in other clubs, committees, everywhere. DTU guys have a easier way because the respect is very high. That is something that was personal. Secondly, beyond this, I think I'm a person who will be way more interested in things like case comms, live projects, and all. FMS has a particular live project, they call it strategy labs, where they offer live project to students. So even as a fresher, before my SIPs only, I'll be awarded 2 to 3 live projects in FMS. Additionally, the academic workload, in a literal sense, is lesser in FMS. So FMS has a semester system, unlike trimesters in IIM Lucknow. So though I am somebody who likes academics a lot, and that shows by my academic record, I don't want somebody to stand over my head, which is the case in Lucknow. Lucknow is, called hell in that way from an academic point of view. I want slightly lower academic stress so that I can focus on case comms and strategy projects. That was one thing. Other than that, as everybody says, ROI is a thing, is a very real thing, Yeah, largely these were the decision factors.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what are the future plans? Like, where do you, I know I don't want to be like this interviewer guy, but just I want to see, because at this point of time, just before entering into an MBA institute, I was personally very dreamy. Okay.
Yeah.
I think that is a very good phase of everyone's lives. Okay. People are optimistic, people are looking. So I just want to know, where do you want to be, say, first 2 years, I know you would want to study well, but in general also, what is the future looking like? Plans.
So again, I'm somebody who, as I said, loves learning new things. So I never know what I'll be up to next. In the immediate term, from a purely placement point of view, I'm looking into consulting, because again, that is something which gives you a very broad bandwidth of sectors that you can work with. That would be a thing. Secondly, again, not sure about what next in 5 to 10 years, but I had asked you this question in IRL. I don't know if you remember that, sir, IT Bombay kar liya, फिर IIM Ahmedabad bhi chale gaye, startup bhi khol liya. What is success for you? And you gave a very beautiful reply. You said that if I am a good son, if I'm a good husband, and I'm a good father, I think I'm successful.
Yeah.
So I don't know about the professional things very well, but personally, as you said, I'm very much into spirituality and things. I'm so willing to grow personally and professionally. Yes, consulting initially, and then consulting has great exit options.
Yeah.
Maybe somewhere I'll learn new things.
Yeah. Very nice, man. Very nice meeting you, Aryan. Just before ending the interview, this is something that I ask everyone also. In the CAT journey, I want you to tell me one good thing that you did, which you think really helped you, and one mistake that you made, which you don't want any future aspirant to make.
Okay. So one good thing would surely be taking a leap of faith. I think that is very important. Believing in there's something called destiny. In Hindi we say that समय मनुज बली नहीं होता है, समय होत पलवान. भीलन छीनी गोपियां, वही अर्जुन वही बान. So I think I took a leap of faith that worked well because, as I said, if I had know कि GM freshers का यहाँ होता है ऐसा कुछ, I would not have probably jumped straight away out of my college. That was a good thing. That was the best thing about my journey. About the mistakes I made, I think I should have had planned it better because you see a percentile, and unfortunately in our system that defines us. But things could have gone wrong, especially in the DILR section, because the preparation should have been better. And that is something that people do in, say, 6 months or 1 year. God was kind that day. Things did not get as bad for me in DILR as sometimes it used to happen in mocks. But yeah, so I think DILR, in general, plan your prep better. Even if you're a final year student, maybe start early if you're very invested in the CAT journey. For somebody like me who just came in 50, 60 days before the paper and, killed it, I would admit there is a lot of hard work, there is a lot of strategy, but there's also blessings that worked out, which might not always be the case.
Cool, man. Okay. Very nice, Aryan. Okay. Nice meeting you.